Welcome back to Nightcap Chat, the pop culture podcast. We talk comics, video games, movies, TV, Star Wars, and more. Today we're talking The Mandalorian, everything that has happened so far, and the new Pokemon Sword and Shield games. I'm Blade O'Neill.
I'm Lance O'Neill.
And before we get started today, I just wanted to thank all of our listeners for liking, following, sharing, and subscribing each and every week. You know, without you, we wouldn't be here doing this. So, appreciate you all doing that. And we ask that you continue to do it. Leave those reviews, especially on iTunes, Google Play, Spotify, and YouTube. And don't forget to tell your friends. But Lance, thank you for joining me today.
Thanks for having me.
What a great couple of weeks it is to just be a fan of almost anything. We had Disney Plus launching. Was that last week or the week before? I don't even know now.
Last week, right? Tuesday?
Yes. And then it feels like I've had Disney Plus forever because I've already watched 2 episodes of The Mandalorian. I don't even know how much X-Men the animated series I watched. We had Star Wars on the other day, and we watched some Clone Wars
and Spider-Man. I don't know if you watched it.
Yeah, no, because I think I want to get through X-Men the animated series first.
I've just been going back and forth. I don't know. I don't know what I want to watch first, and I don't want one to be over. So I'm just trying to drag them both out as long as possible.
I can't believe it was because last week's episode was about the Disney Plus launch, and it came out on launch day. So this is the next week's episode, and that Friday Pokemon came out. But before we get into Pokemon, we've got 2 episodes of The Mandalorian in the bank. So obviously this is your spoiler alert for The Mandalorian. We will be discussing what happens and what the quote twists or reveals are so far. So what was your initial reaction to the first episode? You can be honest.
Shocked, a little bit.
Shocked?
Just a minor, just because at the very
episode?
end.
Okay.
I was just I didn't know what they were gonna do or where they were going with that the very end of it.
We gave him a spoiler warning. You can say it.
So with just all of a sudden there's a baby Yoda. I know it's not Yoda, or maybe it is. Who knows? But it's probably not. Yeah. But that's just all everyone's calling it because there's not a name for it. From
here on out, let's just agree to call it Baby Yoda with the acknowledgement that yes, this is not Yoda, but there is no name for the species as of yet.
Okay. But besides that, I thought it was really well done. I know they did spend some money into it, but the graphics were great. I thought everything looked really well.
And it felt like Star Wars.
Yeah, it felt like Star Wars. It felt like actually kind of felt like I was watching a movie almost instead of a TV show. Well, which is, I know that's kind of like what Netflix is kind of trying to been doing, and then all these other TV shows are kind of starting to really get a hold of.
Well, especially, it's definitely what the Marvel shows are going to be.
Right, which is super exciting. But he didn't say much in the TV show, which is fine. You don't have to say much, but it's still, I think they did a good job with keeping you interested and wondering, wanting to know more about the character, even though he's not saying much, but it's leaving so much more to be desired. It's true. I mean, the biggest thing with the quality is sure, like the practical effects and the non-practical, any of the CG stuff, the reason why it's so manageable, not because it's just cheaper to do all of these things, but this is all effects and stuff that exist. So from what I understand, it's cheaper just to work with existing stuff rather than to have to come up with all brand new things. So what is flying in space nowadays? Anybody with a camera and green screen and After Effects can probably pull that off, Right.
So that's probably one of the main draws on, what keeps this, within budget, but still makes it feel like Star Wars. And I think the practical effects is what really helps as well. Cause the whole original trilogy was practical, effects. But what you were saying with wanting to know more about the Mandalorian, we discussed that they're keeping his name under wraps. There was an alleged leak. Pablo Pasco said the Mandalorian's name, so we'll see if that ends up being true. But the biggest draw is when he was having his Beskar armor, forged, with that piece that he got, the forger, inquired about his clan's, like symbol or whatever, which I thought was interesting because if he knows his clan, wouldn't he know his symbol? There's a lot more questions than answers in his reaction,
Right.
And he referred to himself as, I should have looked it up before we even started. That wasn't a youngling.
It wasn't a youngling, but it was very close to youngling.
Foundling.
Yes, foundling.
Foundling. Yes. So we'll see. So like, if that's like an orphan, it might still be up in the air. It might not even matter what his name is. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's true. I don't know. They showed like little flashbacks of like him while she was forging the armor.
Yeah.
That was actually it was pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
And it did give some, it gave you some feels for the character. You kind of were like, okay, there's something there. You feel like it's not just, I'm just some, I'm a badass bounty hunter guy. It's more, there's more to the character than that.
Yeah. Well, which is good. But I mean, it was so cool just seeing that part of the Mandalorian world, this sort of like little underground place they had going. And then there was the skull, a full on forged, Mandalorian skull there. I forget what creature or whatever it's supposed to be. But anyway, it was just cool.
Forging the armor. See. It was pretty cool.
The Beskar, Beskar, whatever.
It almost felt like right when after he put it on, the next scene he's going to whatever planet he was going to. It's like his helmet now matched his shoulder piece, and and the rest of it just kind of looks like some like whatever armor. Mm-hmm. It made me feel like I was like, man, this should have been a video game because like it just looks like he just unlocked a piece of his armor set, and he's like, okay, I'm ready for the next planet to go and fight. It was kind of cool.
That is cool. That's also a reason to make who knows how many variants of his action figure.
Yeah, that's true.
Left chest piece, right chest piece, but it's cool. It's a really interesting concept, and we'll see what develops of him and where he actually came from. One of my, and everyone's going to hate me for saying this, one of my biggest concerns was the IG-11 character being voiced by Taika Waititi. And for those of you who don't know, Taika Waititi is the director of Thor Ragnarok and What We Do in the Shadows. And he was not only in What We Do in the Shadows, but he voiced Korg in Ragnarok and Avengers Endgame. And gosh, I was just afraid that IG-11 was going to be silly. He still was kind of silly, but it wasn't as bad as I was anticipating.
He was a little, in my opinion, he was okay. He was a little silly. He was funny. I think it did its job. It was the comic relief, I guess, for the whole episode because there wasn't anything funny outside of that.
Yeah.
So I think it was fine. I enjoyed the character. I don't think it was no Jar Jar Binks or anything like that. So
that's true.
It's fine.
That's
true.
I
think I'll take it.
I think I was just afraid he was going to be like, "Hi, my name is IG-11. I'm here to collect my bounty today." That's not what I wanted. I was afraid he was not even going to sound,
But he sounded fine. Didn't sound like it at all.
It was fine. So now he got shot in the head at the end of the first episode.
And that's it.
Is that, he's a droid. So I guess it depends.
Yeah, I don't.
Because as my wife pointed out, he's on all these posters and stuff, as if he's such a character, it's like, is he coming back or is that it? Or is that kind of, they're trying to throw everyone for a loop?
Is it going to be IG-12? Who knows?
Oh, I'm IG-12 now. I have a different head.
Yeah, it could be.
the Cara Dune character, she's on all the posters and stuff, and we haven't even seen her yet.
Well, there's still a few episodes to go.
Well, I know, but I guess I'm just surprised, and I'm really anxious to see this character because for most of you listeners out there, you don't know, my dog is named Kara, so now I have a dog named after a Star Wars character. So I want to know if she's cool. Oh, well,
anticipation's killing you, huh?
Yes. I already bought the pop. Just
what if she's not cool?
Then
do you rename your dog?
No, it's too late. She's already 9. I already renamed her when I adopted her. the name she came with was lira, which is the Italian currency. I was like, I'm not doing this.
Yeah, that's
and she didn't know her name, so I thought it was okay because I tried to call her that, and she was just like la 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 la. She was a puppy.
My cats, Pixel and Eevee, they were. It was Pixel was Flash, and Eevee was Wookiee. So we changed
Eevee
those.
Was Wookiee. Okay, so that's she's the brown cat.
She's the brown cat. Yeah.
Okay.
And when she was a baby, she kind of did look like a little she looked more like an Ewok, if anything. But yeah. And then I don't know what Pixel. He's a Munchkin cat. He's not fast by any means, so I don't know what the Flash idea was.
So it was just irony.
I guess.
Like, hey there, little Flash. Oh.
His face was gold when he was born, so I don't know. Maybe it had something to do with that.
Weird.
And he had wings. He has like wings on the side of him, like his fur. It's like it's like gray, and then there's like white, like shaped wings on the side of him. So maybe that's had something to do with it. I don't know.
Huh. Interesting. Oh, pet names. So speaking of babies, if you will. Baby Yoda has been all the rage since he has debuted. And I just want to point out, before I watched the first episode of The Mandalorian, I saw a picture of this Baby Yoda, and I did not realize it was a Mandalorian spoiler. I did not even bother reading the headline that went with this picture. I had assumed, it was like, what is this gremlin? And I kept scrolling. And then when I saw it at the end of the first episode, I was like, that was a spoiler? Like, damn. But I mean, I guess I can't be like too upset because I didn't realize, but like it was.
I had no idea about the Baby Yoda. I was away from social media and everything. Like I just didn't want to see anything or spoilers, so it did take me by surprise. So I don't know if
it still took me by surprise, but I honestly thought the picture I saw on social media was a gremlin. So luckily, I didn't read that any closer.
I had no idea where they were going with it when they said there's a 50-year-old bounty, and then it was like in this little tiny little circle. I'm like, what is this? I was just, it doesn't make any, like in my house, like it doesn't make any sense.
I was like, it's a robot.
And then I was like, if it's and then I thought it was like a baby, because like when it first opened, you're like, oh, it's gonna be like a child or something. But and then I was like, well, maybe it's not 50 years old. And then I was like, is it Rey? First thing I thought was like Rey, or maybe it's no, because it's in between. It's right after 6, right? So maybe it's like the journey of him taking her and whatever. And then I was like, okay, no, it's Yoda. What is going on? I had just all of a sudden it was just like, I don't understand, but this thing is adorable.
And of course the big reveal from, the second episode was mostly him dealing with these Ewoks that, were not on Tatooine. So we saw, did I say Ewoks? I meant Jawas. Let's give me
excuse me?
I'm sorry, these Jawas that were now in gray robes, since they were not Tatooine Jawas, but they dismantled a ship. But the big reveal was this Yoda creature, Baby Yoda here, is Force sensitive. This is a Force sensitive baby. Now this is really cool, because this is a prelude to The Force Awakens, and we know that there is an awakening. And as we know of Star Wars history, that's what the Jedi. That's where the Jedi come from. Is like they find Force sensitive children. Their powers begin to manifest when they're really young. Even in this case, it's a 50-year-old baby, if you will.
That makes sense.
But this is stuff we've mostly seen in the comics and books and maybe the TV show. Yeah, and the TV shows, I guess, the animated shows. So it's really cool to see this in live action. I don't know, where is this going to go? Because the Jedi Order has fallen, but since we're post Return of the Jedi, Luke should be trying to start that Jedi Order, right?
Okay, yes.
But also the First Order should be getting ready to rise. So in theory, both Luke and Snoke should be interested in Baby Yoda.
Yeah, in theory, yeah.
It's going to be interesting to see where this baby ends up, I think.
Yeah, I feel like this baby's going to end up being protected by the Mandalorian, whoever it's going to end up being. And I think that's, in my opinion, that's where I feel like it's going to go from here on out. He's going to have kind of a battle with himself where, like, I need to turn this baby in, or 50-year-old baby, whatever it is, for the bounty, but saved my life by using the Force.
But they don't have, the Mandalorians cannot train a Force user. So they're just going to keep him in hiding.
Yeah. I don't know, because I feel like there's a lot to the character, even though he hasn't said much and they really haven't explained all that much. I just get the sense that there's a lot to the character and he's more about doing the right thing. And I think that maybe he just feels like that he needs to keep the baby safe. That at the end of the day, he needs this thing is
wouldn't the
obviously
safest
very
thing
important.
be giving it to Luke?
Possibly.
Are we going to get a Mark Hamill cameo with how he looks at the end of The Last Jedi? You know, when he makes himself look younger?
This is possible.
Since the CGI already exists to make him look like that, right? You know, a little, I'm assuming that was like makeup and maybe just a hair, you know, of CGI for the rest of it, but, you know, it wouldn't be expensive to do that. Here's the thing though. What happened before The Force Awakens that we saw in the flashbacks within 7 and 8? Kylo and the Knights of Ren killed all of Luke's Jedi. So if the Mandalorian hands Baby Yoda over to Luke, he's probably dead.
That is true.
So that's that. So if season 1 ends with them handing Baby over to Luke, Baby Yoda is dead. It's probably safe to say. Because where else is he?
Unless he's kept hidden. Or she, yeah, we don't know. Yeah, that's true.
We don't know. All right. I mean, I think.
I have no idea. I don't even understand how it's 50 years old. So, I mean.
Because I think their logic was like Yoda's 900 and he's just like a regular old man. So why wouldn't they be a baby for 80 to 90 years, 100 years?
I don't know. Because I don't know. I guess.
I know what you're saying. It was a hard pill to swallow at first, but I've accepted it. Can't argue with it. We've never seen it otherwise, so why not?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, you have no idea what the species does. No one can really say one way or the other, so they kind of can do whatever they want with it.
It's fine. I mean,
it is fine. I don't have a problem with it. It just leaves it open for so many other things like, oh, is it a cloned Yoda or is it, you know, you don't really understand or know like how it could be there or why or where are the rest of them. We've never seen another like Yoda person.
Yoda
right?
and Yaddle, I think, and that's. I'm trying to think of Yaddle. There was, and I thought there was one other, but I'm not sure it was the same species or not. Within episode 1, he had the big ears and the scar, and he died in the Clone Wars show.
Oh yeah.
I wasn't sure if that was a Yoda species as well. But yes,
but still, there's
no more
just
than 2 or
nothing
3
on it. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's just kind of weird. Where'd it come from? Why is it there? There's just a lot of things that are just unknown.
But if anything happens to Baby Yoda, the internet, the world is going to freak out.
Yes, it will. It's so cute.
There's going to be backlash.
There's going to be anarchy.
But I trust Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni. Like if any Star Wars show is in good hands, it's with them.
Or maybe that's why they're waiting for the last episode of The Mandalorian to be after Star Wars Episode 9.
Oh,
because they're like, well, people might be really mad, so let's just put it back, and then that way they'll still go see Star Wars, and we don't have to worry about it.
Yeah, I mean, well, we'll see. It's just I don't think he can. I don't think he can keep it because it's not fair to his Force training. But we'll see. It'd be interesting if it turns out to be one of the Knights of Ren or something. But I mean, obviously that's got to be impossible, right? Because none of the Knights of Ren are like 2.5 feet tall.
Yeah, I don't think that's a possibility. It'd be interesting to see if it does lead into episode 9 at all. That'd be kind of weird and out of left field if they just decide to put him in there for some reason. But I don't know if I want them to or not. I almost feel like I just feel like it would be weird. I think they shouldn't do that if that's what the case is.
The only other thing I can think of, and the only reason I think it's possible, is because Dave Filoni is helping with the show. There's only one other thing to do with a Force sensitive being of a Jedi that we know is around and not dead, and that's Ahsoka. We know Ahsoka is around post Return of the Jedi. So if he contacts the rebels or something, like, she might be able to keep the baby in hiding. Dave Filoni did Clone Wars and Rebels, and they both had Ahsoka. So, and fans would lose their minds if Ahsoka showed up in live action, like on the last episode or something, and that would be nuts. And that would also explain why we didn't see Baby Yoda around, you know, the Luke flashback or whatever Snoke has been doing, because obviously Palpatine is doing whatever, hiding in ice or something. Like, we'll see.
Yeah. Or what if it's Palpatine? It's Palpatine Yoda.
Palpatine put himself in a Yoda body. He's like, well, since Yoda almost beat me, you know, I better see what's all about having this 2.5 foot tall body.
Well, but there's a bounty on him, so I mean, people know about him. It's
true. Maybe the bounty was from Snoke.
Could be.
Or something. Or Palpatine, because he found out about it and he didn't want another Yoda on his hand because it's 50 years old. It should be during the Return of the Jedi era. So, I mean, certainly possible. And I was thinking that that hit might have come from that as well. So last Friday was quite an exciting day. And not only did we have the second episode of The Mandalorian, Pokemon Sword and Shield came out. The first Pokemon main series RPG for a console.
It's been waiting forever for this.
And we haven't had a main series Pokemon game in 2 years, since Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon. What are your initial reaction to the game? And by the way, we're not going to delve too much into spoilers. I'm about at the 4th badge, and I think you said you were just before that. So we're not going to go too much further than that. This will just be sort of our initial reaction, discussion, and the story so far. So we won't get too far ahead of ourselves. What do you think?
I think it's good. I mean, I feel like, you know, they don't disappoint. Nintendo never disappoints with their Pokemon or their Mario or whatever it is, and they did a really good job with this game. I mean, they did exactly what they said they were going to do. They're taking the game, a handheld game, and putting it on a console, and it feels good. You know, I don't have issues with, like, you know, buttons. Not that it's like that complicated game. I mean, it's a turn-based game.
I like the buttons better in a controller because, like, you're trying to drink something or have a Kit Kat, and if you put your DS or Game Boy down, you're like pushing on the screen. You're trying to push on the buttons, and the screen's moving. But I can put it down on my lap and like do something with one hand real quick, and I'm still staring at the TV.
Right.
That's when I realized, like, wow, this is so much more of a. Gosh, what is wrong with me? This is a better way of consuming this.
Right. Yeah, I agree, and they did a. I know there was already video shown, but I feel like they did a really good job with, like, the scenery and stuff.
I think so too.
They did a better job than I thought. I guess in my head, what I was thinking of, you know, when they were talking about making it into a console game, I think they did a really good job. Everything's pretty detailed,
and everyone's complaining about it right now.
Really?
Yeah.
About what?
That the graphics aren't as good as they promised, and they're comparing it to, like, Breath of the Wild and stuff.
I don't care about graphics. At the end of the day, if you give me a good game, you give me a good game. I can honestly care less about graphics.
Here's the thing, like, to me, like, I was playing it on a 4K 65-inch television.
Me too.
And it looked great. You know,
it looked fine. It's just, I get it's not. It's the game itself isn't in 4K, and it's not.
It doesn't matter to me. The last Pokemon games I played were on a 3DS XL, and the biggest problem was these Pokemon games were 3DS games that up-resed the resolution from a 3DS screen, so everything looked jaggedy. There was no, like, good, like, up conversion or anything. So, like, this is the most crystal clear Pokemon game we have ever had.
Yeah, I don't have a problem with it. I mean, I think people are just complaining over little things. I mean, I have zero problem with it. I've always said I don't want a game with great graphics. I just want a good game, because especially lately there's been so many just bombs of games. Mm-hmm. you know, I don't need a 4K game. I just want some 1080p is fine. You know, that'll do. Especially a Pokemon game. It's a cartoon. This isn't like hyper realistic type stuff where you're going to be like, man, this kind of is really bad. It's not like you're playing James Bond from Nintendo 64 and, you know, their head's like 4 pixels. Like the game's perfectly fine as far as the graphics go.
Yep.
But as far as the gameplay goes, for me, walking around is great. Did an amazing job with that. Walking around for the wild Pokemon, they literally, in my opinion, couldn't do any better than they have done. I love I can see the Pokemon walking around the wild. The first time I saw, is it okay if I say certain Pokemon?
Yeah.
Okay. First time I saw a Gyarados in the water, I was like, oh.
You saw a Gyarados in the water?
Yeah. I was.
Where?
It was in the second wild area that you go to right before you go to that big purple and gold.
Oh, literally the wild area?
Literally called, the wild area.
Oh, yeah.
If you go all the way over to the right, there's like a little lake, and then there was a Gyarados, and it's going in and out of the water. I'm like, oh my gosh, this is so cool.
Wow.
It just was like, yes, this is what I wanted. Like to be able to just walk around and see just like a Gyarados and just be like, oh my gosh.
I do really like it. My only very, very, very minor complaint is because what really made me okay with seeing all the Pokemon was that you can't see all of them. Sometimes they're just a little exclamation mark.
Which I love.
Yes, and I think that's the perfect way to do it, and it's a very realistic presentation of it. But I was just kind of hoping you could also go through the grass and just kind of like still like old school, like a Pokemon appears.
Right.
You know, you don't have to chase after, you know, because it is so easy to avoid encounters for the most part.
It is.
But flip side of that coin, I feel like it almost has made the game more enjoyable because in every other Pokemon game to date, if I've been playing for a while and I get to another part that's like a long cave or something I have to go through, if I was like a little tired, I would just stop right there because it would be exhausting to like, you ran into a Zubat, run away, you ran into a Zubat, run away, or whatever the game's equivalent of that was.
That would get kind of annoying in the old games, yes.
This one, besides opening day, we only played or launch day, we only played for a couple hours, but the next day I played for like 10 hours straight, I think. And all of a sudden it was midnight and like, I wasn't stopping at the caves like I normally would. Like going through the caves was much more enjoyable. And the caves were all pretty and they were different. Like it was really neat.
It wasn't just this dark thing that you were just like, I need to grind through this really quick.
Yep.
But they did put in some like traps that I actually fell for once. But
you talking about the fish?
The fish Pokemon. Yeah. So they got me the first time. They didn't get me after that. But that was kind of like a good idea to kind of still kind of make the caves annoying, you know. But the caves are really cool.
Yes.
The one thing that I find interesting though is they've added a lot of random items to pick up in the game. There's random shiny things everywhere all the time, and I don't know what the thought process was behind it. It's not like you're getting things that are just like overpowered or anything like that, but it's just I don't understand why they thought they needed more of that. There is stuff
everywhere. There's so much. I walked this bridge twice and like I felt like there was just always items.
There's always the bridge has feathers all the time.
Yes, that's what it was. Yeah. I was like feather. I'm like, who's dropping all these feathers? What are we doing here?
The birds.
Well, yeah. But yeah, you're right. I did notice that. I guess it's kind of hard not to complain that all of the Pokemon are not in there. I do still think it's disappointing.
To me, it hurts the game a little bit. I really wish they put them all in there. At the same time, though, I get it. It's hard to have all those Pokemon in there. They all have to move when they're attacking for all their different moves. They all have to, move around when they're sitting there, posing. There's just a lot to it than just like, we're just going to put a Pokemon in a game. I mean, they didn't even do the graphics that people were complaining about, right? With the 400 they already had, right? So people were hoping for those graphics and they didn't even get that. So I think it is what it is. I'm very disappointed that they didn't put all 900 or whatever it's supposed to be.
I don't know. 900, 1,000. No, it was 800 last.
It was 800 last, so it's probably in the 900s, right?
At least.
But I don't know. Outside of it not having, all the Pokemon, the only thing that I personally could say bad about the game is the gameplay is fine when you're in a battle, but I wish there was a little more to it, because I feel like if you're putting it on a console, this is your opportunity to do a little more, right? And I feel like when you're sitting there just like about to pick your move, it's kind of like it's just like being on a DS almost, where you're just, the camera's behind your Pokemon, you see the other Pokemon, and that's about it. And you just pick your move. I just would like if it's like a minor complaint. Like, I just wish the Pokemon was, just going back and forth, moving, like almost like sometimes. But I just feel like there should have been more, or at least the Pokemon, Pokemons that are really quick. Like, let's say, like, we've all, if you like Pokemon, you've seen episode of Pokemon before, right? You've seen Pikachu, doing quick attack, right? And it's like kind of like darting back and forth. They could have done like just a little something to just give it something different, I feel like. And even with some of the attacks, I feel like it's just kind of a little to be desired with, he did tackle and he just kind of moved towards the Pokemon and it kind of hit it. Some of the moves are cool though. Some of the, I used fire types, so some of the new fire moves are pretty cool and what the Pokemon does with them. I don't want to spoil anything. But I just wish there was just a little more to the action, a little more with the camera angles, maybe moving around. Even like with the Pokemon Stadium for Nintendo 64, there was always the cameras were always moving.
The camera is
back and forth during the when you're
have
waiting.
You put down your controller though?
Yeah. I've been playing on the TV. It doesn't move that up.
Yes, it does. I'm going to have to look again.
It moves when you're like in battle. It'll go back and forth, but that's about it.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like,
no, but I mean when you're sitting there like waiting to pick your move. Like, I just wish there was just more than one angle.
So like if you sit there, like it'll cut and it'll show this angle, this angle. I'm going to look again.
It does that when there's Dynamax. I know that.
I've got to look again.
When I did the Dynamax
like I can
thing,
picture it.
I was like, oh wait, it's moving. But I was like, I don't think it does at any other point.
I was concerned that the Dynamax was going to be this crazy new Mega Evolution thing and, Z Crystal replacement. But then I realized you can only do this at gyms. This isn't a regular battle, because I thought it was going to greatly affect like the Pokemon video game championships. Like everyone's going to have to pick a Dynamax Pokemon. But it doesn't seem to be the case. Like it's only in these 8 spots in the Galar region, aside from the wild area where you can catch some Dynamax Pokemon. So it's really not, it's like a sub thing, like within the game. I don't know if it's really going to play into the video game tournament at all. I mean, we'll see.
Yeah, it's okay. It's fine, I guess. I mean, I don't have any complaints about it, I guess. I don't think it really changes anything. Because usually if you're going up against one, you're just going to
do it yourself.
So I feel like it just doesn't change much, because it's just, it was almost like when a Pokemon would go like a Mega Evolve. If you had one that Mega Evolved, you would just do it also, because you don't want to get one shot by the Pokemon. So, I mean, I don't think it hurts it at all. I think it's fine. The Dynamax for the wild thing though, with being able to do it with friends or just random people, I think that's kind of interesting. I guess.
And we'll still have to try that part out. So what's really cool is like I've avoided a lot of the Pokemon reveals in the last couple of trailers and stuff. So like a lot of the new Pokemon that I've come across, like I'm like, oh, what's this? Oh, crazy. Or like there was a Galarian form of something that I didn't even realize, was going to be there. What has been your favorite new Pokemon so far?
My favorite new Pokemon. I'd probably say I don't remember its name, the Raven looking thing. The Raven
Corviknight.
Corviknight, that's his name. That was probably
the final form
of it. Yeah. That's probably the coolest.
Yeah.
Because I mean, I even saw it in the wild once and I was like, oh my gosh, that thing is like, I want it. I don't even care if it's good. I'm just going to use it. Like, it's going to be one of those Pokemon that I'm going to take it all the way to, the end of the game and beat the game with it, even if it's not that good. It's decent though. I don't have it yet. I'm the form right before it. I'm probably going to level up any second because I'm like level 32 with it or something.
Yeah, I was level 38 because I looked it up because I wanted to. I wanted to know because I was grinding for the 4th gym, and I was wondering if it was worth taking it that far. And I was like, oh no, I'm not doing that. But yeah, I definitely agree. Corviknight is definitely. I love Ravens though, and they did such a good job with it.
Yeah, that's definitely the best one. At least I've seen so far. It might not be the best one by the end. I haven't seen all of them. Just like you, I haven't seen any spoilers. But it's definitely the best one so far.
What has been your least favorite one so far?
My least favorite one.
I think a contender, if it's not one of the worst ones, is I don't even remember it. It's this little nerdy looking caterpillar. It looks like it's wearing like big circle glasses and it's really small and he's got like
with the huge eyes,
yeah.
That thing.
Yep.
Yeah, that thing was weird. When it popped up on the screen, I told Alicia, Alicia, look at this. And she was just like, what is that? And I was like, I don't know, but I'm going to kill it with a shoe. And I set it on fire with my fire, starter. Yeah, that one's up there.
Have you caught the apple worm?
Applin?
Yeah.
No, I have not.
Did you look at Applin's type?
No.
He's a dragon.
Really?
Yep. So I
did run into a guy who said he wants an Applin.
I did too, and I just passed one, and I was like, I'm not going back.
Yeah, I need to go get it.
But he was offering, if I'm not mistaken,
he didn't offer anything. He was just asking for one.
Oh yeah, that's right.
It was to give to somebody, because if you give that to somebody, that means you love them or like them or something.
Lame.
I'm sure you end up, how it is with those games. You give do something nice, and they'll just give you something good.
So there was a Galarian Pokemon that I saw.
Okay. I think I know what you're talking about.
No, you don't.
Okay. And why is it only to your...
No, but I don't even want to tell you actually, because shoot, I might have just backed myself in a corner. Was that a trainer? Do you care if I tell you it's a trainer in the next gym?
I don't know. I don't know because I don't know what you're talking about.
It's a Galarian Pokemon.
Oh.
A Galarian form of Pokemon that already exists.
Oh, okay. I guess.
Galarian Corsola.
Okay.
It's so scary.
It's scary?
It's a ghost type, and it looks like a dead Corsola, and it's like sad.
Are you serious?
Yep. It's unbelievable. I was like, what is that? And I looked at a Corsola, and I was like, oh no. It's like a Corsola. It's all white and it's like floating and sad. It's like a ghost of a Corsola, but he's all sad and cursed and like dead. I'm like, what? Like this? It's so freaky.
Is it a ghost type?
Yes, it has to be.
That's something else.
You should look it up.
I will. How do you feel about? Well, can I talk more about the? Okay. What about the Meowth? Have you seen the Meowth?
He was fine. I just don't understand why we got another form of Meowth. Like we just had a Alolan Meowth.
I'm glad they didn't do anything with Diglett. I saw a regular Diglett and I was happy.
This Alolan Meowth is better than the other Meowth because Alolan Persian looks lame.
I hate Alolan Persian.
So I don't know what Galarian Persian looks like.
I don't know either.
But I don't know.
I caught him. He's whatever.
I'm tired of these different forms. There's so many. There's the Galarian Meowth. There's Galarian Yamask. There's Galarian Farfetch'd, which I did not even realize was different until I caught it.
I thought it was an evolved form.
So there is Surfetch'd, but in order to get Surfetch'd, you have to evolve Galarian Farfetch'd. And I did notice his leak was really big, and his stance was weird, and he looked a little dark, but I just thought they redesigned Farfetch'd a little bit, and then I realized, after I caught it, it said Galarian form. So Galarian Farfetch'd, they have really thick leaks, and they all think they're warriors. And they might also be fighting type. I'm not 100% sure. I have to double check that. So like they're just slightly different looking, and they're more of a darker brown.
Huh. Interesting.
And Surfetch'd is just straight up white. So do you have any predictions for the end of the game and where the story is going? Because I know you, like me, know nothing about the actual plot. I've been surprised about everything. There's the story with this sword and a shield.
Right.
And
Which is cool.
there's this chairman who owns like every business in the Galarian region.
Chairman, the Rose guy, right?
Rose.
Yeah, I feel like he's going to end up being the bad guy.
Me too. Yes.
But he's not going to know he's the bad guy.
Interesting.
Because I think he's genuine with what he says, but I think he doesn't understand the ramifications of what he's
maybe like
trying
his
to do.
Assistant and stuff.
Who's that blonde girl that's keeps being with?
It was like, we have to go. We have to go.
Yeah.
You know,
I think she's kind of like
pulling the strings
and he's going to almost take the fall for it. And I think that's how I see it heading too. So,
especially since Team Yell is pretty much just useless.
Oh yeah. They have nothing. They're just a side thing that is just for that one female.
And she's so
character.
cool.
She's cool.
She's really cool looking.
But she doesn't even like her fans. So, which is pretty cool. I actually enjoyed that character.
I like her. I don't know if it was Melanie or whatever her name is. Whoever the Team Yell is fans of. Like she seems like she's a cool character, but Team Yell is just lame.
Yeah, they're pretty lame. I guess they tried doing something different instead of having like bad guys. They just have like a team that just is obnoxious.
That's what Team Skull was last time. I feel like we just did this, you know. Except I guess like this is if even a step further. They're not a gang. They're just obnoxious fans.
Yeah.
I guess.
Maybe they're just picking on soccer fans or something. I don't know. Because they have like weird vuvuzela looking things too.
And they keep trying to pick fights and they're like really vicious. Yeah.
Yeah. Unlike the players who fall on the floor and pretend to get hurt. One thing I don't know if it's okay to talk about this. The last form of the fire type.
Okay. Oh yeah.
I cannot stand that he's like a soccer player.
Yeah.
Have you noticed that?
Yeah, because he kicks rock.
Around a fire. Yeah, kicks up the rock. And
I knew that was going to annoy you.
It's so annoying. Like I feel like if he gets hit by something that's not very effective, he should fall on the ground and pretend to be dead.
That should be his ability.
Yeah, it's
feign injury.
It's so annoying.
It lowers the other Pokemon's like attack because they're like, oh no,
did I kill him? That'd actually be great.
I really like the water starter. I was getting nervous, and the second when he evolved into Drizzile,
I got nervous. I got nervous for you.
He was an emo salamander, but I was like, you know what? It's okay. You know, sometimes when you're a teenager, you look a little weird. You do something weird. You know, it's just this. It's the awkward stage. You know, and that's happened in lots of the starters. I mean, look at Poplio's second form, or Wartortle was pretty unrelated to Squirtle and Blastoise, at least to Blastoise, really. There's awkward middle forms sometimes, and it took me a second. I was really surprised on the final evolution for Sobble, but I like him.
I think he's okay. I'm not a huge fan, but
I like it.
I think it's okay. Honestly,
it's a salamander. So I mean, what else do you want?
I don't know. I guess
he's not a soccer player.
You know what I'm not. You know what I'm kind of. I don't like is like they're like kind of humanoid. I'm not a fan of.
That's why I didn't like the tiger from the last game, the fire starter. He looked like a furry man with a belt.
Right.
Like, that's why I didn't like that. To me, like, yeah, he's fine that he's a biped lizard because he is so skinny.
But did I have to get another fighting type?
Is he a fighting type? I thought he didn't gain the fighting typing.
Did he not gain it?
I didn't think so because I looked over and it just said fire.
But he knows fighting moves. It's just annoying. Like I just don't want fighting moves for my starter. But then what do I just have? Just fire?
We'll see. Go through some TMs and
I know I'm gonna have to. It's just kind of annoying. I just don't.
I know.
We had Blaziken. We had the last guy, and then we have this. Like just no.
They were all firefighting. This is okay.
But I do think that as far as starters go, I feel like it's kind of a weak for the three starters. Because like usually there's like one I really, really like or I think is really, really good. Mm-hmm. And I feel like this time there's one, for me at least, there's not one that I like think is better than the other or really, really like, Yeah, I haven't seen the third evolution for the grass starter. I mean, it's a
but
monkey.
is off to a really bad start with
Yes.
the second like yellow pineapple looking thing. So I guess we'll see. I saw a photo of someone making fun of it. They made Donkey Kong, I don't know if it was green or yellow, and put broccoli on his head. And so I'm sure that's not a good sign.
Yeah. I'm not a fan. I'm not a huge fan of them. It's fine though. I'm just excited to see all the new Pokemon that are going to be coming out.
Yeah. And I'm honestly really enjoying this game, and I don't know where exactly I rank it right now, but I mean, even Sun and Moon, like I was not like this addicted and could play for 10 hours straight. Like I would have to stop, like I said, like at caves and stuff. So like this is definitely shaping up to be a really good Pokemon game. Not that there were any really weak ones. I would argue that Sun and Moon and Black and White were probably the weakest ones. And this is me having not played Gen 4 Platinum and Diamond Pearl Platinum.
I think Black and White 2 probably
Black and White 2 is probably the worst, especially since it was so similar to Black and White, and it was just backwards.
What are you guys doing? I didn't really get it.
It wasn't because like Crystal, introduced a huge dynamic of, I think that was the first time you were able to pick your character's gender. So that was the only time I played as a girl. I was like, I'm going to pick a girl just because I've never had this ability up until that point. And there was a lot of extra post-game content, I believe. In storyline with Suicune.
One thing I really do like about the new game is I feel like a lot of times in Pokemon games, you have like all this money and eventually you get to a point where like, man, I have all this money. I literally have nothing. I can't do anything with all this money. And in this one, there's all these different clothes you can get. And it just allows you to do a lot more with the money, and it makes it actually like you actually want to like go into a fight and try to just get some money if you want a piece of clothing or whatever you want.
And right off the bat, because the first town you come across, there's a boutique, and usually my wife is the one who's all about like customizing their character and stuff. But like I was buying a new hat and stuff before.
I spent all my money the first time going to a boutique. I bought that Arcanine shirt.
Oh,
that was 90,000. I wasted
ugly.
all my money on it.
That was so ugly.
There's nothing else that I liked. There's literally nothing else.
There's different clothes.
I know when I go to them, and I haven't seen a shirt that I like more than that one.
You're gonna laugh because I was like, I want the black T-shirt. So that's what I got because I didn't want to wear the red T-shirt.
I got fire sweatpants.
But I absolutely
fire type sweatpants.
Okay,
it's black and red.
Yeah, I absolutely hated the starting male character's hat.
I absolutely hated all the starting male characters, period. I wish I actually went to female.
Why?
I feel like they look better.
Did you get a haircut and stuff?
I don't like any of the haircuts.
They had my hair.
I know they had your hair, but they don't have my hair.
I'm the Pokemon character. And if you see our social media, I have, I don't even know what this is called. It's not a high and tight. It's like a undershave almost. I don't know.
Definitely not a high and tight.
Well, kind of like a very.
Well, it's tight on the side.
Undershave. So like the top of my hair is really long, and then it's hard cut to shaved like around the sides, and they had that. And in any Pokemon game that you customize, like they've never had my hair, but this happens to be how my hair is now, and they happen to have it. And then I went ahead and clicked on makeup just because I wanted to see what that meant for the male character, but that was their way of changing your eyebrows and eye color. So I was able to get blue eyes. So I was able to take that a step further.
You know what I didn't like though?
That's when I took my hat off.
When you go to get your haircut, you have to pay for it.
Yes.
Before you get your haircut. Yeah. And I was like, I went through it and I was like, I didn't want any of these haircuts. So I didn't get anything done. I paid 3,000 coins for nothing.
I clicked on it thinking it was going to show me the options before I decided I was going to back out. But it charged me and they sat me down. But I'm glad I did find, a haircut I want. But the customizing is awesome. It's the best customizing we have ever had up until this point. Like, it even really hooked me in. The only thing that I think is disappointing is they introduced these really cool league jerseys. So in this game, when you battle the gyms, you wear your jersey. And you have your participant jersey, and all the gym leaders have their corresponding types jersey. And you can buy them, but you also win the corresponding jersey Pokemon type to the gym you defeat. So when you defeat a water gym, you get the water jersey, and the fire gym, you get the fire jersey, and so on. But you cannot equip the new jerseys you get as jerseys you wear when you fight the gyms, you can only wear it as regular clothes. When you fight the gyms, you still have to wear your generic jersey. So I felt like that fell short. Maybe I'm asking for too much, but I feel like I have no incentive to wear these jerseys now because they're not that good.
Yeah, I'm not going to wear them outside.
Because I wanted the Psychic one, and I was really excited. I was like, well, what's the Psychic one going to look like? And it was probably the ugliest one. It was like a tie-dye swirl.
Oh, that's lame.
That was really disappointing.
Yeah, that's a little disappointing. I don't know. Maybe you can't change it yet, or maybe you can, and I just haven't figured it out or looked. But when you're riding a bike, your outfit changes to like,
I noticed that.
Like you're about to do the Tour de France or something.
Yes.
But you can't change it, and it's the ugliest thing possible. I don't know if maybe later on you're gonna be able to change it.
Probably not.
But it's just, I wish they could just tweak that because it's just so ugly.
I mean, it's like, thanks, but like, I'm gonna be spending most of the time once I get the bike on the bike. Let me just wear my clothes.
You can upgrade your bike now.
I did saw that. I got scared and I didn't feel like dealing with it right now. So
yeah, it's like, this is too much to commit to right now. Let me just do a regular.
And if I remember correctly, it was like expensive, and I was like, no, I'm not.
It was.
I'm fast enough. This is all good. Well, I think that's about all the time we have for today. Lance, thank you for joining us.
Well, thank you for having me.
Once again, and thank you all for taking the time to listen, like, share, subscribe, and we appreciate you including us as part of your weekly routines, whatever that may be. Maybe you're on your way to New Comic Book Day and, we're part of your ride over to your local comic shop. Don't forget to continue to like, share, subscribe, leave us some comments on what you would like to hear us talk about on future episodes. I want to let you guys know right now, there is no new episode next week in observance of Thanksgiving, but we will be back, in full force, the week after Thanksgiving. Only a few episodes left in the year, and we'll be ending the year with our Christmas special. So got some things cooking up, so stay tuned for that. Appreciate you all taking the time to listen, and we will see you in 2 weeks.
Have a good night.